Ladies and gentlemen, friends and loved ones gathered here today, we are here not to mourn without hope, but to be reminded of a greater truth. Death is not the end. Each of us, at some moment in life, will stand at the edge of a grave and feel the sting of loss. We will look into the darkness and wonder what lies beyond it. The world will tell you that life ends in the grave, that dust returns to dust, and there is no more. But deep inside, every heart knows, this cannot be all there is. There is a longing in every soul that refuses to believe death is final. That longing is not an accident. It is the fingerprint of eternity written on your heart. Life on this earth is only a shadow of what is to come. This world, with its sorrows, its joys, its victories and defeats, is only the beginning of the story. Beyond the veil of death, there is a new dawn, a place where every tear will be wiped away, where suffering will be no more, and where the broken will be made whole. We are not simply bodies that happen to have a spirit. We are eternal beings temporarily clothed in flesh, and when the body fails, when the heart beats its last, your spirit goes on, beyond time. Beyond pain, beyond death, today you may be carrying grief. Your heart may be heavy, your spirit crushed by the weight of sorrow. But hear me, this life is not the end of the road. It is the doorway. It is the beginning of forever. There is hope that shines brighter than the grave. There is life that is stronger than death. There is a future more real than anything we can see with our eyes today. So, live your days with courage. Love with everything you have. Forgive quickly. Hold fast to what is good. And remember, death is not the end. It is the beginning of a life that cannot be taken away. And when that day comes for you, as it comes for every person, you will not walk into darkness. You will step into glorious light, into peace, into joy, into the presence of everlasting life. Thank you, and God bless you all. It may seem final, it may look final. When we stand beside the grave, when we watch the casket lowered into the earth, everything inside of us cries out with the finality of it. Tears fall, hearts break. Silence hangs heavy in the air. We ask ourselves, is this it? Is this the end? But deep inside, another voice speaks, a voice stronger than grief, older than sorrow, whispering, no, this is not the end. That voice is the echo of eternity placed in every heart. It tells us there is something more, something beyond what our eyes can see. You see, death is a doorway, not a wall. It is a threshold, not a dead end street. The body may return to dust, but the soul, your soul, lives on. Life is not extinguished in death. It is transformed. All through history, humankind has tried to make sense of death. From ancient times until today, people have built monuments, written songs, told stories, all because we know, deep within, that death cannot be the final word. If life were meant to end at the grave, why would we long for something more? Why would we dream of eternity, of peace beyond the storm, of joy beyond the sorrow? It is because you and I were created for more than this broken world. We were made for life, real life, life that death cannot destroy. When we look around at this world, we see decay. We see nations rise and fall. We see beauty fade. We see strength weaken. But there is a part of you that does not fade, that does not weaken, that does not die. That is the eternal part of you, and it is that part that tells you that death is not the final chapter of the story. The grave may look like a place of endings, but for those who have hope, it is a place of beginnings. It is where sorrow ends and everlasting joy begins. It is where the pain of this world falls away and perfect peace takes its place. Think about a seed planted in the ground. To the outside world, it looks like death. It is buried, it is hidden, but from that hidden place, new life springs up stronger, more beautiful, full of promise. Death to us looks like burying, but in the hands of the one who holds all life, it is planting. Planting for a greater harvest, planting for a future beyond anything we can imagine. You may be carrying a heavy burden of grief today. You may have said goodbye to someone you love, or you may be staring at your own mortality, feeling the weight of years, feeling the fear of the unknown. But hear me, you do not need to fear. Death has been conquered. Death has lost its sting. The grave has lost its victory. Beyond the curtain of this life, there is a place where the light never fades, where loved ones are reunited, where every tear is wiped away, where life goes on forever full, free, and glorious. Today is not the end. This life, with all its trials and troubles, is only a brief moment compared to eternity, a vapor, a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. But beyond that vanishing mist, there is a kingdom that cannot be shaken, a home that cannot be destroyed, a life that cannot end. This hope is not wishful thinking. It is not a fairy tale we tell ourselves to ease our pain. It is a living hope, anchored in something greater than this world, greater than our fears, greater even than death itself. Because of that hope, we can live with courage. We can face our days with joy. We can love others fiercely. We can forgive freely. We can walk through grief with peace in our hearts, knowing that separation is only for a season and reunion is forever. So I tell you today, lift up your hearts, do not fear. Do not let sorrow have the final word. Death is real, yes, but it is not stronger than life. It is not stronger than love, and it is certainly not stronger than the eternal purpose for which you were created. When the time comes for you to walk through that valley, and it will come for each of us, you will not walk alone. You will be carried. You will be welcomed. You will step out of the shadows and into the light. Death is not final. Death is not the end. It is only the beginning of the life you were made for. There is a longing inside every human heart that nothing on this earth can satisfy. It is a hunger for something more, something deeper, something everlasting. You can chase every dream, climb every mountain, achieve every success, and still feel that hollow ache inside whispering, there must be more than this. That ache is not a mistake. It is not a flaw in your design. It is the mark of eternity placed within you by the one who made you. You were created for a life beyond what your eyes can see, beyond what your hands can touch. And no matter how far you run or how much you accumulate, your soul will never be at rest until it finds its home beyond this world. From the beginning of time, humanity has searched for meaning. Philosophers have asked the great questions. Poets have written about it. Warriors have fought for it. Scientists have explored the farthest reaches of the earth and the stars above. But still the question burns. Is this all there is? No, my friend, this is not all there is. The longing in your heart is there because you were made for eternity. You were not made to be here for just a few short years, to live and to die and to be forgotten. You were made to live forever. Look around you. Every sunrise, every blade of grass, every heartbeat is a reminder that life itself is a miracle, but even these gifts are only a glimpse of what is to come. They are a signpost pointing to a greater reality, a greater life waiting beyond this one. Why do you think we mourn when someone dies? Why does grief tear at us so deeply? It is because we know, deep down, that death is not natural. It was not meant to be this way. Our souls rebel against it because we were not created for endings. We were created for everlasting life. The longing for eternity is not weakness. It is not foolishness. It is the most natural, the most true part of who you are. You can try to silence it with distractions, drown it out with pleasures, bury it under the weight of busy schedules, but it will still be there. Quietly, persistently, calling you home. All through history, people have built monuments, erected temples, written books, sung songs, all trying to reach for something eternal. Deep down, every heart is crying out for a life that cannot be shaken, for a love that cannot be taken away, for a home that will never be lost. This world is beautiful, but it is not enough. The deepest joys of life, love, friendship, beauty, truth all point to a greater source. They are like beams of sunlight shining through a window, but they are not the sun itself. They stir up our hunger for the full glory that is still to come. You can feel it when you stand on the edge of the ocean, staring out into the endless blue. You can feel it when you look into the eyes of someone you love. You can feel it when music lifts your soul higher than words can express. In those moments, your spirit reaches for something beyond yourself, beyond this temporary world. That is eternity calling to you, and there is only one thing that can answer that call. Not money, not fame, not power, not pleasure. Only the eternal life that your Creator offers can satisfy the ache inside. You were made for a relationship that will never end, for a life that will not be measured by days or years, but by eternity itself. And that life is not something you earn, it is a gift offered freely to every heart that longs for it. Today, you may be feeling restless. You may have tried everything the world has to offer and still come up empty. You may be chasing after things that promise happiness but leave you more broken than before. Listen to the longing in your heart. It is not wrong. It is leading you home. There is a place where all your searching will end. A place where your restless heart will finally find its rest. A place where the hunger for life, real life, will be filled beyond your wildest dreams. You are not alone in your longing. Every man, woman, and child who has ever lived has carried the same yearning inside. It is the signature of the Eternal One written on the human soul. It is a compass pointing you home. So do not ashamed of your longing. Do not silence it. Let it lead you. Let it guide you beyond the shallow promises of this world, beyond the glitter and noise, to the source of life itself. For you were made for eternity. You were made for life that never ends, for joy that never fades, for a love that death itself cannot touch. The longing for eternity is not just natural, it is essential. It is the truest part of who you are. And when you finally listen to that longing, you will find the life you were always searching for, the life you were created to live forever. When you look around at the world today, you see beauty, wonder, and joy, but you also see pain, sorrow, and heartache. You see broken families, broken dreams, and broken lives. People chase after wealth, pleasure, and power, hoping to find satisfaction, but so often they come up empty. No matter how much we achieve, no matter how far we go, there's something inside that tells us there must be more than this. And there is. You see, this world is not all there is. This life is not the end of the story. It's only the first chapter of a far greater story that stretches beyond the limits of time itself. You and I were not created just for a few short years on this planet. We were created for eternity. There is a purpose to your life. There is a reason you were born. You are not here by accident, and the few years you spend here, whether many or few, are preparation for something far greater than anything you can imagine. When you look at your life, you may see struggle, you may see failure, you may see dreams that have crumbled and hopes that have been crushed. But take heart, this is not the end. Life on earth is only the beginning. The trials you face today are shaping you for a future you cannot yet see. The heartaches you endure, the tears you cry, the prayers you whisper in the dark, none of it is wasted. Every moment, every step, every breath is moving you closer to the day when you will step into the fullness of the life you were made for. The human heart longs for more because it was created for more. You were made for a life beyond sorrow, beyond death, beyond the limits of this fallen world. Deep inside, you know it's true. That yearning you feel is not weakness. It's not foolishness. It's the voice of eternity calling you home. All through history, men and women have searched for meaning. They have built empires, written great books, composed beautiful music, all trying to grasp something lasting, something eternal. But no work of human hands can fill the place in the heart that was made for another world. When you stand at the edge of the ocean and see the endless waves, when you look up at the night sky and see the stars scattered across the heavens, something inside you whispers, "There's more." This world, as beautiful as it is only a shadow of what is to come. The pains of this world are real. The disappointments are real, but they are not the final word. Suffering is temporary. Loss is temporary. Even death itself is temporary for those who have hope beyond this life. There is coming a day when the broken will be made whole, when the sick will be healed, when the lonely will be embraced, when every tear will be wiped away and sorrow will be no more. That day is not a fantasy. It is a promise. The years you live here are a breath compared to eternity, like a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes. But eternity, oh, eternity stretches beyond what the mind can grasp. 1,000,000 years from now, you will still be alive somewhere. 1,000,000,000 years from now, your soul will still exist. That is why what you do with your life now matters. That is why your choices matter. Because this short life is only the beginning of an endless existence. Don't waste your life chasing things that will pass away. Don't anchor your heart to treasures that will rust and fade. Lift your eyes higher. Set your heart on things that will last forever. You were made for a relationship that does not end. You were made for a joy that cannot be taken away. You were made for a love that death itself cannot destroy. Right now, you are on a journey. Every heartbeat moves you closer to the real home you were made for. And when this life ends, whether after many years or just a few, it will not be the end of you. It will be the beginning of life as it was meant to be lived. Life with no more fear. Life with no more sorrow. Life in the presence of everlasting joy. This earth, with all its beauty and brokenness, is a preparation ground. It is the training ground for eternity. It is the place where your soul is shaped, where your heart learns to love, where you choose where you will spend forever. So live this life with purpose, love boldly, forgive freely, serve gladly, give generously, walk humbly, live every moment knowing that this life is not the destination, it's only the beginning, because the best is yet to come. When you stand by a graveside and look into the silent earth, everything in you may want to believe that this is the end, that what once was full of life and laughter is now only a memory. But something deeper speaks to your heart, louder than the sorrow, stronger than the silence. It whispers the truth. The spirit lives on. We are not just flesh and blood. We are not merely bodies that walk and breathe for a few short years and then vanish into dust. You and I are eternal souls, temporarily clothed in mortal bodies. And when the body dies, the spirit does not die. It rises, it continues, it lives on. You were created for eternity. You were shaped by hands that formed the heavens, designed with a purpose far greater than anything this world can offer. Deep inside, you know it is true. That is why, even in our grief, there is hope. Even in our mourning, there is a quiet certainty that death cannot have the final say. The world around us tries to explain life in terms of what can be seen and touched and measured. It tells us we are born, we live, we die, and that is all. But the deepest part of you knows better. You feel it when you look into the eyes of someone you love. You sense it when you stand beneath the endless stars. You hear it in the stillness of your soul. You are more than a collection of bones and breath. You are a living spirit, and that spirit, your spirit, cannot be destroyed by death. When the body grows weak, the spirit remains strong. When the heart stops beating, the spirit does not. It steps into another world, a world more real than anything we have ever known here. A world where time no longer presses in, where sorrow no longer weighs heavy, where joy and peace are endless and full. For those we have loved and lost, the grave is not their end. Their laughter is not silenced forever. Their love is not buried in the ground. They have simply stepped ahead of us into the life that never ends. The spirit lives on, and one day we will join them. One day we too will leave behind the brokenness of this world. We will shed the burdens of these fragile bodies, and we will step into a life that cannot be touched by pain or death or tears. That hope changes everything. It gives strength to the weary. It brings comfort to the grieving. It lights the darkest nights with the promise of morning. You may feel today that death has stolen something from you. You may feel the deep ache of absence, the empty place at the table, the missing voice in the crowd. But know this: death can separate bodies, but it cannot separate spirits. Love does not die. The bonds of the spirit are not broken by the grave. The memories you cherish, the love you hold, they are not in vain. They are reminders of the greater reality that awaits us all. They are signposts pointing us toward home. So do not let despair have the final word. Do not let sorrow crush your spirit. Lift up your eyes, look beyond the grave, see with the eyes of faith the greater life that is waiting. The spirit lives on. Right now, you are living in the between what is temporary and what is eternal, between the shadows and the light. But this moment is not forever. The day is coming when all things will be made new, when what was broken will be restored, when what was lost will be found. You were made for that day. You were made not just to survive for a handful of years, but to live forever. And not just to exist, but to live in fullness, in joy, in the presence of perfect love. When fear grips your heart, remember, the Spirit lives on. When sorrow clouds your days, remember, the Spirit lives on. When you wonder what happens after the final breath is drawn, remember, the Spirit lives on. There is life beyond what you can see. There is hope beyond what you can touch. There is a home beyond this earth where the Spirit, free from all burdens, soars forever. And today, if you listen closely past the noise, past the fear, past the grief, you will hear it. The quiet but unshakable truth echoing through all of creation. The Spirit lives on. Grief is a heavy burden to carry. It wraps itself around the heart like a heavy chain, making every breath harder, every step heavier. When someone we love is taken from us, it feels as if the world itself has stopped turning. The laughter we once shared, the memories we built, the plans we made, they all seem to vanish like smoke in the wind. But in the midst of grief, there is hope. In the midst of sorrow, there is comfort. Grief may be powerful, but it is not greater than the promises that have been given to us. Sorrow may last for a night, but joy comes in the morning. When you lose someone you love, you may feel alone. You may sit in the stillness of an empty room and wonder how you can possibly go on. But you are not alone. You are not forgotten. The one who made you knows your sorrow, feels your pain, and walks with you through the valley of grief. There is a hand reaching out to you even now, a hand that carries the scars of suffering, a hand that offers peace in the midst of pain, a hand that promises that this is not the end. You see, death is real, but it is not final. Loss is painful, but it is not forever. There is a greater reality beyond the grave. There is a place where tears are wiped away, where broken hearts are mended, where those who have gone before us are alive and well. This is not wishful thinking. It is not a story we tell ourselves to ease the pain. It is truth that has stood the test of time, truth that has comforted countless hearts across the centuries. Grief tells us that we have lost something precious. Hope tells us that what is precious is not lost forever. Comfort whispers that the separation we feel today is only temporary, that one day, beyond the pain, beyond the sorrow, there will be reunion. There will be joy. You may not feel that today. Grief can cloud the heart like a thick fog, but feelings are not the measure of truth. Even when you cannot feel it, hope is still there. Even when you cannot see it, comfort is still offered. The heartache you feel today is the price of love. We grieve deeply because we have loved deeply, and love, true love, is stronger than death. It reaches across the chasm of time and space and holds us together even when we are apart. The one who created love knows your pain. He wept at the grave of a friend. He was moved by the sorrow of those around him. He understands the crushing weight of grief, and he offers not just sympathy, but power to heal, power to endure, power to hope again. You may think that the hole in your heart will never heal, and it's true, grief changes us. We are never quite the same after loss, but grief can also deepen us. It can soften us. It can teach us to love more fiercely, to live more fully, to hope more bravely. One day, the heavy burden of grief will be lifted. One day, all the questions we carry will be answered. One day, the arms we long to feel again will embrace us once more. Until that day, we walk by faith. We hold on to the memories, the laughter, the lessons, the love. We honor those we have lost by living with courage, by loving others deeply, by carrying their light into a world that still needs it. Grief is a journey, not a destination. It is a valley we pass through, not a place we stay forever. And even in the darkest valley, we are not alone. There is hope for the grieving heart. There is comfort for the broken spirit. There is life beyond the loss. Lift up your eyes. You may be bowed down with sorrow today, but your story is not finished. The story of your loved one is not finished. Beyond what we can see, there is a greater chapter waiting to be written. A chapter where love wins, where life triumphs, where the tears we shed today are remembered and redeemed in everlasting joy. So we do not grieve as those who have no hope. We grieve, yes, but we grieve with hope burning in our hearts. We sorrow, yes, but not without comfort wrapping its arms around us. There is hope and comfort in the face of grief, and that hope will never fail you. That comfort will never leave you. That promise is yours today and forever. Life is not an accident. You are not here by chance. You were created with a purpose, fashioned by a loving hand, placed in this world for a reason that is bigger than you can imagine. Too many drift through life without direction, tossed about by the winds of circumstance. They chase after pleasures that fade, cling to possessions that rust, build their dreams on foundations that crumble. They seek fulfillment in the temporary, and when it slips through their fingers, they wonder why they are empty inside. But you were made for more. You were made to live with purpose. You were made to live with courage. Purpose gives meaning to your days. It lifts your eyes above the noise and confusion. It anchors you when the storms of life rage. It calls you to something greater than comfort, greater than success, greater than survival. You are not here just to exist. You are here to make a difference. You are here to shine a light in the darkness, to speak truth in a world of lies, to carry love into places where hearts have grown cold. Living with purpose means understanding that your life matters. It matters to those around you. It matters to generations you will never meet. It matters to the one who gave you breathe. And living with courage means facing the battles that come not with fear, but with faith. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is standing firm in the face of fear because you know who you are and whose you are. This world can be a hard place. You will face disappointment. You will encounter opposition. You will walk through valleys that test your strength and challenge your hope. But you are not called to live in fear. You are called to live boldly, to stand tall, to move forward even when the path is steep and the road is rough. When you live with purpose, you stop asking, "What can I get out of life?" And you start asking, "What can I give?" You stop measuring success by the standards of the world and start measuring it by faithfulness to the calling on your life. You see, real success is not found in trophies or titles. It is found in a life lived well, a life that touches others, a life that leaves a trail of kindness and courage and truth behind it. You may think you have little to offer. You may feel small, insignificant, but do not believe that lie. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, every stand for what is right sends ripples through eternity. What you do matters. Who you are matters. Do not waste your life chasing shadows. Do not spend your days pursuing things that will one day turn to dust. Invest your life in what will last forever. Live with purpose. Live with courage. There will be times when you will be tempted to quit. There will be moments when fear will whisper in your ear, telling you that you are not enough, that the battle is too great, that the mountain is too high. But in those moments, remember, you are not alone. Strength beyond your own is available to you. Courage that does not come from within yourself, but is poured into you by the hand of your Maker. And remember that you were born for this time. You were placed here, in this generation, for a reason. You have a role to play that no one else can fill. Your voice, your gifts, your heart, they are needed. So live with purpose. Live with courage. When you fall, and you will get back up. When you fail, and you will press on. When you grow weary, find your strength not in yourself, but in the one who called you. You do not have to have all the answers. You do not have to see the whole path. You only have to take the next step in faith, trusting that the one who gave you purpose will guide your way. And one day, when you reach the end of your journey, you will look back not with regret, but with gratitude. Gratitude that you lived not for yourself, but for something greater. Gratitude that you walked the hard roads with courage. Gratitude that your life had meaning beyond the few short years you were given. The world needs people who live like that. The world needs people who will not bow to fear, who will not live for themselves, who will stand strong in love and truth. You can be one of them, so live with purpose, live with courage, and live every day knowing that your life, your one precious life matters now and forever.